All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. I'm pleased to be joined now by Republican Congressman Tim Griffin, who represents Arkansas' 2nd District. It's always good to see you.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July to you, too. Well, let's get started here. Today, the Treasury Department says Congress has 1 month to raise the nation's debt limit or the government will be in default. Some Republicans are saying that that is a made-up date by the White House. What do you say to that? Is it something that's made up, or is it a hard and fast?
I don't think it's hard and fast. I don't doubt that it's soon. We have to pay our bills, certainly, and we are out of money technically right now. I think it's important to point out, though, that there's enough revenue coming into the government to service our debt.
Okay.
There is not enough revenue coming into the government to service our debt and continue spending at the level we've been spending.
Okay, and that, of course, is the whole divide between the Democrats and Republicans.
Sure.
Republicans want a certain amount of spending cut, and Democrats are only right now able to deliver half of that. But there is a belief among some that Republicans would allow this president to fail at the expense of this country. What do you say to that?
Well, that's nonsense. I think what I am focused on, and what a lot of other people are focused on, dealing with the issue of the debt, the $14 trillion debt. And the problem is, my predecessors, year after year, decade after decade, have kicked the can down the road. And they've raised the debt limit with no restriction on spending, and they've raised it, and they've raised it. And that is what has gotten us to where we are. And last year, when I went around this district, what I talked about is not kicking the can down the road any further. And so we want to deal with this, but we want to deal with it with real solutions that actually change the way the country does business.
And when you talk about kicking that can, Republicans voted to raise the debt ceiling, including party leader John Boehner, McConnell, Cantor.
Sure.
They voted 5 times in the past under a different president to raise the debt ceiling. But then when it comes to this president, it seems like we can't seem to reach an agreement.
Well, I'll say a couple things. First of all, the debt ceiling has been raised numerous times.
Correct.
And it's been around for decades. So early on, the debt ceiling was set low. And then, so raising it at that point was completely different than raising it when it's when the debt is 100% of our, equal to the 100% of our economy. I'll say this, I'm not here to defend who's done what in the past. There's plenty of blame to go around. Both parties, Congress, past Congresses, president, past presidents. This is not about which party. This is about what I and a bunch of other folks ran on last year. And we didn't really care what other people had done previously. We said, we're going to do this differently. We're going to get the debt under control.
Okay.
And so I think we've got a different perspective. We were just on the November, and this is what we ran on.
This is part of the whole your platform. But I must ask you this question. You had a recent interview with Talk Business where you went on camera saying, I am going to be fully engaged in regards to the presidential election. Another quote, I am going to be very engaged in that to defeat Obama. So with that in mind, knowing that you fully intend to be engaged in getting a Republican voted, you haven't decided which one, how can you work with this president in good faith?
Well, I think it's relatively common. It's very common for people to, during a presidential election, for members of Congress to side with their candidate of their party. I mean, that's pretty routine. Look, I think this president's wrong on a lot of issues, and I'm not going to make any bones about it. And I don't think that he would make any bones about that. You know, he would rather someone be in charge in my seat and a bunch of other seats. But that's something aside. I mean, you've seen my 3.5-year-old. She's here in the studio.
She's gone now.
Yeah, well, maybe she's gone. But the bottom line is, we've either got to deal with this now, or they're going to deal with it long after we're gone. And the only thing I would say is, we can't keep doing what everybody's been doing and get a different result.
And I guess, and the only reason I'm asking you these questions is it seems to me that every time there's a crucial vote, whether it's the debt, whether it's the war, we're always divided down party lines. There is never any, very little, if you will, crossover. And I'm just trying to understand why that is and why can't Congress agree on something?
Sure. Well, I'd say a couple things. First of all, our system is set up where, unlike a parliamentary system, it's set up where you got to get some agreement or nothing happens.
Right.
And number one. And number two, as you've seen in recent presidential elections, this country is very, very sharply divided. I mean, we've had presidential elections that went down to recount, okay? So this country's divided. And, you know, there are people that have different visions for the way this country should proceed, whether it be on tax issues or spending or the way you create jobs or whatever. We have real disagreements. So, you know,
is there any chance of agreeing on raising the debt ceiling? And can it happen by the 2nd of August?
Well, whether it happens by the 2nd of August or not, I don't know. I can tell you that what we are concerned about, when I say we, I'm talking about a lot of people that are like-minded, is we are concerned that a deal will be cut that won't really do anything, and that we will be in the same boat that we're in. And my view is this is directly related to jobs. Businesses won't invest. Foreign investors, domestic investors, they won't create jobs because they don't want to invest in this economy.
Okay.
And we got to deal with this.
Okay. I wish we could talk more, but time limits here.
Well, I hope you get some time off for the 4th.
All right. I appreciate that, and you enjoy the 4th.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for being with us, Congressman.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
The season